So Venus is about getting what you want, about liking things. So Venus is kind of the artistic talent and using your talent. What's Pluto going to do? I'm not talented. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I wouldn't do that. It's going to make the Venus qualities harsh. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to do just a commercial, or I'm going to sell something. I have to be tough. I don't have to marry. I'll never marry the person once. So I better marry this person, or have to do this. There's going to be confrontations around love, around being loved, around being appreciated, around being satisfied. Venus is your desire to be satisfied. Mars is your desire to satisfy someone. Venus is your desire to be satisfied. If Pluto's there, something's blocking your ability to be satisfied, which also means probably blocking your ability to climax, even to surrender. You have to be so controlled of what you want and what you have. Now, sometimes with these outer planets to Venus, most of the outer planets, you can overcompensate. That's too intense. So you make a second world and you overcompensate and you control things in a totally different way and you don't deal with it. That's over there. So someone might be very insecure financially or emotionally, and then make sure they have to have money. They have to have money. Everything's about money. Everything's about being secure and having money. I would lose, otherwise I'd lose everything. And that's a loss of innocence. So the Pluto Venus, just smiling gently and gracefully is a difficult thing to do. They can laugh, they can smile, but not as naturally or spontaneously. There's something happened around their emotions, around receiving attention, and something harsh happened. Someone blamed them and put them down. They weren't wanted. And how do you find wanting? So many people grow up with Pluto Venus, they're afraid of singing. They're afraid of showing their talents or their emotions or what they really want, because someone might take it or something might happen to us, so they don't show it. I'll never get it. I better take the second choice rather than the first. Then they can live a lifetime in a marriage that's their second choice and never really the love that they wanted. And it's a harsh kind of punishment. They can have their kids, bring them up, and the kids are growing up in this environment where it takes us what they think is love. These patterns go through generations. They go through a family tree. Till someone figures it out and solves it and doesn't pass it on. So you can have this, but there's a type of therapy you need to have to face emotional inadequacies or satisfaction, not feeling you're beautiful enough, so you better take this. Not feeling you're worthy enough, so you better take this. And Pluto hates compromises. It's forcing realities. It's this or that. It's not. If you're compromising, you're selling out. You don't have what you want. Deal with it. How do you get it? No one's going to give it to you. No one's going to give it to you, useless thing. Go get it for yourself. But eventually, you have to fight that battle, overcome the fear, and find something beautiful to do. So for many people with the Venus-Pluto, art as therapy is really powerful. Especially singing. Most of these people are afraid of singing. Pluto Venus, no one's going to like me. I won't put it out. They'll half sing. They won't sing. They have to do practical. Don't take anything artistic. Don't do this. They have this block. But singing, you can't half sing. You're either singing, whether it's in tune or not is another story, but you're either putting it out or you're not. You can't and consider it singing. So the therapy of how to love yourself and like yourself, even though stuff went on. That's the challenge of the Pluto to Venus. So if someone has the Venus, that's their struggle, and they're going to have to find it who the sign Venus is in, but his attitudes, by adjusting attitudes or trusting the higher qualities of those attitudes, and by getting the better qualities of the circumstances of the houses. And that's always the word. What Pluto's there's some harsh thing went on that wasn't fair, that just was harsh or real. That's why I'm afraid. That's why I'm not like this. But that can happen. It can be there, seem like a continuous thing across life, but it could happen at one time or another. Someone laughed at them, someone hurt them, someone picked on them. It could be a little girl afraid of being a girl. Not told about periods, not told about anything, or being controlled so she can't have a relationship unless the parents set it up. Or, but it's fear around money too. I gotta have money, gotta have money. I better marry someone for money because I don't want to live poor. Or it could be a fear of being afraid that people have money, and it can go either way. No matter where, everyone's got Venus, everyone's got Pluto. We all have emotional fears and blocks. But someone with these conjunction square and opposition, the stressful aspects, they came in with it. It's almost like they had them in another lifetime and didn't quite deal with them, and they come in this time having to deal with it. You know, so when most of us think like that, we think, geez, we must have been an awful bad person in another lifetime to have this stuff happen to me. And maybe it's true. But Pluto meditation is 2 words. So what? But I'm afraid. So I don't think I can sing. So what? No, somebody may not like it. So what? Sing. Play a piano, play an instrument. They weren't encouraged to indulge, to enjoy. So I can do things without getting things. I'll accept things, you know, like they'll accept a bad relationship because it's better than no relationship. It's not really, but they might be inclined to do that, accept that. So they need to build up their self-worth, and they have to overcome their fear of it and the block of it, and their confrontations of fear, emotional confrontations. Whew. A lot of people with Pluto to Venus they're going to come from a, well, not everybody, but there could be, you could expect a split family or extended family or some challenge around what's emotionally real or not. But it could just as easily come from one parent not loving the other and being the victim in between. These are not so much the blames of everybody else around that did this to you. It's that it happened in your life, and this is what you have to grow through. So you're going to have to deal with these things sooner or later. But teenage years are going to be difficult because you're not going to be liked. And if you're not being liked, it's going to be hard to find your social. Well, if Venus is below the horizon, may be a challenge inwardly. If it's above the horizon, you might have trouble finding your social sense of self-worth, your cultural sense. And with Pluto there's a need to have to fight it to get it. And often, someone will be the commercial artist, when really they're supposed to be the fine artist, and they're sold out just do the commercial art because it's more practical. That's a Plutonian loss of innocence. Having to sleep with someone that you don't want to sleep with. Having to eat something you don't want to eat. Having to wear something you can't stand. Being afraid of your own choices. Venus is making choices. Pluto, it's like you're trying to make choices, but you don't want anyone to see because they might interfere with it. And it's not for no reason that it's there. It's valid for that person. They have to work through it. You can't just get over it. They have to find some things to build up their self-worth. And it usually takes a breakdown or something breaking through the barrier, the isolation, the coldness from the Pluto, to get familiar or close, to get beautiful things going, to do something. Sometimes it's with some, sometimes they have to do it your own. You have to find something. Like singing is beautiful, but singing, chanting, Pluto brings in this hardness that makes you feel, how could there possibly be a God if this is happening? Why would I go there? I don't even want to go there. Well, most people say they don't want to go to school. They still have to go to school. But when it comes to who you charm or who you don't charm, Pluto, Venus is not going to be a charmer. They're going to be a confronter, a challenger. They might be very controlled, passionate. Someone might turn this sexually and make it really controlled passion, but they're not going to surrender and be open to their emotions. So where did the little girl grow? They grew up too fast. Where the little boy went? Harsh things happen to make them grow up too fast. It has a primal effect on their behavior. So most psychological complexes that have to be healed or find a spiritual answer to or something, these are all in the outer planet to the inner planet aspects mostly. Everything else is either socially the norm at the time, if it's the outer planets to each other, or it's just normal differences between human attitudes, personal character faults and stuff, but not huge things. These invisible planets, they have invisible effects that you can't see directly, but boy, their presence is felt. You know, so you tell someone who's Venus, Pluto, I love you, let's get married. You say, wait, so what? Just because you love me, then you go, why should we get married? Or I love you, what's it matter if I'm married? Like, how do you make your choice? There's a fear of making choices. It could be a fear of not having money, not being good enough, not being beautiful enough, not being loved, not being liked. And there's a need, that very fear tells you exactly what you have to do to heal it. You need to be loved, need to be liked. So I was always afraid of singing. But I got into chanting. I could chant for 3 or 4 hours nonstop, but I was afraid of singing. I was afraid of the other people's opinion about me making a noise. When I realized it's the same thing, it changed my attitude to it. But that took a long time. So these Plutos to these inner planets, they're the most critical things. And they're the most insidious things. Because these outer planets, the inner planets, Pluto is the harshest. But Neptune's confusing and guilt-ridden. Uranus is anxiety-ridden, or shock-ridden, nervousness, restless, insecure. You know, the anxiety in its powerful way is really the Pluto is the anxiety complex. The restlessness, the nervousness, the high-strung worry. That's more the Uranus. Sometimes when that's at a crisis, it's hard to tell one from the other. Sometimes people have both. So when these outer planets make difficult aspects to each other in the world, and then they end up being in people's charts, they make the same, they both make the same, if they're conjunct, they're making the same negative aspect or difficult aspects at the same time in a person's chart, and they have that for their lifetime. So when you're looking at these invisible planets, you're looking at something to understand what's going on, what's happening. There's something's happened, that there's something's happening that's not in the norm, that's going there, that you got to figure out, that they have to figure out as part of their character. And you could say Pluto is really forced therapy, but I think therapy doesn't go far enough. Pluto is like spiritual retreats and trying to find surrender, to find if there's a love versus no God. You know, like the outside fear versus inner love and beauty. But there's a block around the beauty. Someone could be the most beautiful person in the world, but if they have the Venus of Pluto, they're not feeling it. They're making necessity upbringings. They're making necessity choices, fearful choices. And everybody may like them. I mean, they may not like anybody, or like they can come a lot of ways how that Pluto is blocking one or some aspect of Venus. So really, we're looking at Venus in the chart. We're trying to see Venus chart. Oh, there's a block from this. Oh, I wonder what that is. They can have all the other things there. Good things can be going on, but this nerve is still going to be there. If you're going to get close to someone's heart or try and see their values or their self-worth, you're going to run into their Venus aspects, their choices. We can make choices and they can be wrong choices. And then you can think, I can't get out of it, or do I change it? I make too many choices. So many ways Venus can happen. And Pluto, you can lose innocence or get harshness around all of it. In the end, Venus should be watching the sun and lining up to the sun and one's heart far more than minding the affairs of Pluto, the most impersonal planet. Like I said, it's not good or bad. It's just doesn't seem fair when you have something and other people don't. No. Because parents can have kids at different times. One kid could be there and have all the nice aspects, and that kid can have Pluto, Venus, and just not be loved.